What's up, guys? This is Limbus Company patch notes for April 6th, 2023. Alright, so the first thing, we're getting our new units, new identities. The 3-star director Outis and 2-star Hong Lu. Also, we are getting a banner for Heathcliff, his rabbit version, his Klein hammer, as well as his E.G.O Section 5, and then his normal regular 1-star version. Also, we're getting a new E.G.O, which is the Telepole for Faust and the HE. And again, they repeat, we're getting the 2-star Hong Lu and director Outis. But okay, so let's jump right into it. The first one I want to talk about is the Hong Lu. So let's go over the skills first, and then we will talk more about the unit. So skill 1 is a 2-coin skill, and it will heal your SP when used, and on a second hit it will inflict burn. His second skill is a 2-coin skill. On first hit it will inflict burn, and if the target already had burn, you will inflict more. On second hit it will inflict more burn count, and if the user was above certain amount of SP, then you will inflict even more burn count. Skill 3, also a 2-coin skill. On first hit it will inflict burn, and if the target already had burn, it will inflict burn count. And on second hit it will heal SP if you landed your coin, your second coin. And on hit it will if target had a specific amount of burn count, then it will raise the stagger threshold by a portion of damage dealt. His guard is the defense skill, nothing extra here. For passive, when above a certain amount of SP, it will inflict more burn count with the effects of attack, skills / coins. And his supportive passive, one ally with the highest SP will inflict more burn count with the effects of attack, skills / coins. Alright, so the character is clearly built for burn comps. He uses blunt damage on all of his skills, so that's something to point out. He will be good in main story, actually, in the third one, because a lot of enemies we're fighting are the knights and stuff, and all of them are weak to blunt damage, so he should be pretty good in the story we have available right now, at least the hardest / latest one we have. So other than that, he seems to be just stacking a lot of burns, right? I don't know how many units we have right now, but probably not many. I can't even think off top of my head which units have burn on them by default on their skills. So probably burn comps are not amazing right now, I would assume. But with the future updates, when we get more and more units with burns skills, this character will become higher priority, just to, you know, slot him in there to support, and hell, maybe even do damage. Like, I don't know what the numbers are here, so maybe he's not even like a support, but more of a, you know, big carry on burn comps. So either way will be great addition to the burn comps, no matter the numbers, so that's good. Obviously, the only thing I have to premise is his numbers have to be good for the skill powers, because if he has bad numbers on his skills, then it doesn't matter, right? Like, he cannot inflict burns unless he actually attacks the target and hits the target. Like, all of his burn is on hit, so, you know, if his numbers are slow or low rather, then yeah, then it might be an issue, but I don't know. Like, to me, it's just wait and see. And for burn stuff, he should be really good. Alright, on to the 3-star Outis. The first skill is a 1 coin skill. In Clash, the opponent has reduced Clash power, and on hit, it will inflict Paralyze for the next turn. Skill 2 is a 2 coiner. In Clash, opponent has reduced Clash power. On first hit, it will reduce the inflict Rapture count and inflict defense level down for the next turn. And on second hit, it will do the same, Rapture count and defense level down for next turn. Her third skill is a 3 coiner. In Clash, opponent has reduced Clash power. On first hit, you will inflict offense level down for the next turn. And on third hit, you will deal bonus / damage proportional to damage dealt. And on hit also, it will inflict weakness analyzed for the next turn. Weakness analyzed is a new debuff, which at random will choose endure or normal resistance for the enemy, and it will weaken it, okay, by 0.2 to damage multiplier for 1 turn. So if a unit, for example, has endure, which is 2.0 resistance, then it will lower it to 1.8 basically. So her defense skill is whenever she uses it, she will gain haste and defense power up for the next turn, which is nice. And then passive, when attacking a target with damage type the target is weak or fatal to, she will do more damage. And then supportive passive, she chooses 1 ally with highest speed, and that ally will do more damage when attacking target that is weak or fatal. Okay, so as with the last character, very clear focus here. She's extremely focused on winning clashes and doing a lot of damage to the target, especially if they are weak against her type, damage type, right? Like, very clearly that's what's happening here. To me, even though the video itself with like how her skills looked pretty whatever, the skills on paper look really good. Obviously we don't know the numbers here, so I don't know how good her skills will be in terms of power, but every single skill that she has will reduce clash power of the opponent. Again, we don't know by how much, but if her numbers are good or really good, and also if she reduces clash power of the enemy, then she might be a fantastic clasher, meaning a fantastic unit that will win your clashes all the time, right? And if she wins clashes all the time, then she can inflict her stuff, which is also really good. Rapture, so you do more damage, right, from everyone. Defense level down, again, more damage from everyone. And on her skill 3, offense level down, so the unit will deal less damage to you. And then weakness analyze, which sure, it might not be reliable, but you know, it might be extra damage you do as well, if it lands on stuff you're using. So, and then also you get like extra slash damage here, which is nice, right? Then you get even more damage if you're attacking weak or fatal. So a lot of cool stuff here. It will depend a lot on numbers and a lot of those extra damages, like how much exactly we're talking about. And reduce clash power, how much exactly by we're reducing that clash amount. Is it just by 1 power or 2 power, 3 power? So we'll have to wait for the numbers, like especially on this unit. I feel like the unit can be very strong or very whatever, depending on the numbers. Because if her numbers are low, and she fails to win clashes, then like her whole purpose is to win clashes and hit, then that sucks, right? But I'm hoping that they didn't mess us up with the numbers, and she should be pretty good, especially for bosses. I feel like this is a boss unit, because again, like, to win clashes, usually you will struggle with bosses on clashes since they have higher numbers than regular enemies. So I think that's the place where you want to win a lot of clashes. And then she inflicts all those debuffs, and it's better if you're fighting one unit, because then all the debuffs are going into that one unit, and every single ally can, you know, benefit from this. So yeah, to me this is definitely a boss killer and a great unit if you know exactly what you will be fighting and you want to exploit the weaknesses even more. So I think she's looks pretty good on paper. So we'll see whenever she comes out and we get the numbers. Okay, on to the next thing, the Telepole HE EGO for Faust. Her awakening skill is a 1-coiner, and on hit it will inflict paralyze on enemy. Also on hit it will give you charge count, and if you hit the head, so if you hit your coin, then it will apply envy power up and haste to random allies next turn. It says allies, so we'll see how many allies specifically. If it was all allies, then it would say so. So I'm assuming it's not all 4 other units, it's probably 2 or 3 allies. That's why they had to put the random allies, unless it chooses random amount of allies. But the way it's worded to me, it seems like just, you know, it's either 2 or 3, and then it chooses at random. But still, that's nice. Envy, if you have decent amount of envy in your team, then great, you will do more damage. And if you have haste, then obviously easier to take turns before your enemies, so both good. Okay, the corrosion version of the skill is also 1 coin, and it will target units randomly, and on hit it will inflict paralyze. On hit will also give you charge count, and then also tail hit. So I'm assuming if you fail your coin toss, right? So it will then inflict paralyze and bind on random units next turn. So I don't like the corrosion version of it as much, to be honest, because it seems very random. Okay, not only it will target randomly the if it will hit your allies or enemies, and I think this is regardless of the new feature we're getting. I think it will still target randomly because it's like built in the skill itself. Not all egos have targets randomly in it, so I think regardless, like, it will attack whoever. But then if you also fail on the coin, then another layer of RNG comes in, because now it will inflict paralyze and bind on random units, again few units, which it could pull your allies into the mix. And yeah, paralyze and bind, not fun. Okay, so the passive, while this unit has charge, you will deal more damage based on the amount of charge count. Also, skills will spend less charge count. So that's actually pretty cool. We'll see how much more damage, like how does it scale. Is it 1% extra damage for 1 count, so up to 20%, or like, we'll see how math is done here and how exactly we're getting this damage. But very cool, because this means if you're not using charge, then you do more damage, right? But if you are using charge, then your charge skills cost less, when you're actually using them, and you do more damage. So pretty cool. I was afraid that this will be unusable unless you have charge, and Faust does not have charge on her. I don't think any of her versions. Maybe one of her version has charge, but yeah, the 3-star definitely doesn't. The 1-star also doesn't. So yeah, I think her 2-star, one of her 2 stars has it, doesn't it? Yeah, her 2-star has it, right? The cleanup agent has charge. So yeah, that's exactly right. So yeah, I like it. I like it because you will be able to actually get more out of it, even if you're not using the charge. It will be obviously not reliable, but still. I also wonder, I guess this is after, right? So after you cast it, yeah, I guess. So you cast the awakening skill, you gain the charge, and then you get the extra damage after that. So like it wouldn't affect the damage of the skill itself, but yeah, I mean, regardless, I think it's good. It's just passive extra damage, right? You do so. Yeah, obviously you have to like activate the passive, right? But still, I think it's decent. We'll see the numbers. Alright, on to the next thing, the Luxcavation sweep. We already knew about this feature, they talked about it before. It's implemented exactly the way they said it will. It will basically cost twice the amount of energy. So since all of the stages cost 2 modules right now, then you have to pay 4 modules to use the sweep function, and it will give you 50% extra rewards than normal clear. Meaning, if you were to run the stage 2 times normally, you're getting 200%, but if you run them with sweep function, you will get 150%. So you're losing half of the rewards if you use the sweep. However, well, in terms of energy use, right? Because if you spend 4 modules normally clearing by hand manually, then you will get you won't lose that 50% rewards, right? But where it gets interesting is, and something I didn't think about, I don't think they even talked about Fred Luxcavation getting it. I think it was only EXP one that was supposed to be on, but Fred Luxcavation is also getting the sweep function. And what's interesting is it also works on the daily bonus, and that changes everything. And that means, like, for example, I will be sweeping the Fred ones because, so the way it works is you spend twice as much energy and you get 50% more rewards. However, one sweep counts as one daily bonus. At least to my understanding, it will count as one bonus. So even though you're spending more energy as if you were clearing the stage twice, you're only clearing it once. So it means that every day, if you use sweep, you can use it 3 times and you will get 9 Freds every time you sweep, right? So that means you're getting 27 Fred in one day if you're only doing the daily bonus stuff, right? If you clear manually, sure, you will use less energy for it, right? So instead of using 12 energy or 12 modules, you will instead only use 6 of them, but you will only get 6 plus 6 plus 6, so 18 Freds in a day. Again, only if you're doing it with the bonus. So 18 versus 27, you're getting 9 more Freds every day, if that's how it works. So if you don't care much about energy and you're sitting on a lot of modules like I am, yeah, you should probably be sweeping the thread stuff, because on daily basis you will just get more of them, and I feel like you can't really ever have enough of threads, since you will be you know, releasing characters and egos all the time. So so to me the use here is actually makes sense. For the EXP, not so much, because EXP does not have bonus at all, right? So all you're doing with EXP one is you're spending more energy to be lazy. That's it, right? Like that's all it is. So in the instances where you have to do this one clear and you don't have time, you just want it to be done quickly, sure, you can be lazy and use it, and you know, whatever, you spend a little more energy, fine. But in situations where you can or clear it manually and you want to get all the rewards, then yeah, EXP one makes more sense to just clear manually, in terms of efficiency with energy spent and the rewards you're getting. Regardless though, EXP doesn't matter that much. Like if you played from the start like me, you're probably just swimming in EXP by now, and yeah, like you're only clearing this EXP stage for the daily mission for your battle pass. That's the only reason why you're doing it. So, and maybe some of you don't even bother, since it's extra to on track. But I don't know, like I'm swimming in modules, and to me it's worth doing the daily mission. So pretty cool. I did not expect this kind of use potentially. I'm assuming that's how it will work. So I'm pretty excited to get more threads on daily basis and not have to do it manually on top of it, right? Because it becomes pretty tedious, to be honest. Okay, on to the next thing. Again, another thing we've already knew about, the overclock on your ego. So it gets implemented exactly as they said before. You will be able to spend 1.5 times, so 50% more resources spent to do the overclock that's stable. Okay, stable overclock makes it so you can use your what it's called, there you go, you can use your corrosion skill, so corrosion version, the second version of your ego, but it will be safe one, meaning it will not target units randomly. It will always target enemies. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier, that I think even though it says here that this will be stable and it will yeah, I think it even says it here, right? Stable overclock ego skills have the same effects and damage value as the corrosion skill, while being able to distinguish allies from foes. So everything should stay the same, in which case I'm assuming that if here corrosion skill says that it targets randomly, then it will target randomly regardless, I think. I am not exactly sure if that's the case, but let me go to the egos, because I know I have some skills here, or some egos here. Yeah, and corrosion version of their skill does not says target randomly, so not all of them have it. Some of them have. So I wonder if this like overrides the indiscriminate or not. I don't know. It's hard to say, because it says will have the same effects and damage values as the corrosion skill, while being able to distinguish allies from foes. So I don't know, maybe it will be able to just override the indiscriminate on those skills. We'll have to see. If it does override, then great, because that would be great. But it's hard to say. Like, they don't specify. If all of the corrosion skills had indiscriminate on them, then that would be pretty simple. Yes, right? Like, yeah, it will override, but because some of the skills don't have indiscriminate on them, then I'm not sure. Also, the question is if indiscriminate is something that is like built into the going into corrosion state, or is this attached to the specific ego you're inside, right? So maybe not all egos are even dangerous in corrosion state. Like, as in, some might be able to target enemies always and will never target your allies, even if it's unsafe one, right? So I don't know. I would have to see it in action to know for sure. Okay, well, you have the second version of overclocking. This one is if you don't have enough ego resources, and you will enter the unstable overclock state, right? So in this case, the ego resource cost will be subtracted from your possession beyond 0, meaning it can go into the negatives, and unstable overclock will carry the risk of targeting indiscriminately as well. So again, same thing. If the corrosion version of the skill doesn't have the indiscriminate on it, will it like force it now? Like force indiscriminate on it if you use this unstable version? All of those are like good questions, if that's how it works. And also another question for me is the unstable version. It says when you don't have enough resources, but I wonder if you don't have enough resources to do the overclock, meaning the 50% extra, or if you don't have enough to use ego at all, right? Because that's important. Because maybe you can like just, you know, kind of speed run the content. Then first turn, just do ego skills and just RNG it. Like maybe you get lucky and you just clear. But I'm assuming you have to have at least enough resources to cast the base version of the ego. That's my assumption. But yeah, again, we'll see. We'll see. Alright, on to the next thing. The major changes, they are changing the passive skills and supportive passives. The trigger, right? Activations of those. They said they would. And here it is, the list of all the characters that have their passives changed. So some of them will have the requirements eased. Okay, some of them will have their effects changed to static numbers. So and then, so that's for the units. Then I think for the corrosion, ego corrosion behaviors, they changed that. So now the corrosion skills will appear on the random number of slots rather than all of them. So if your unit had, you know, 4 skills, right now, if you enter corrosion, all of them will be corrosion skills. You have no choice. However, now after the patch, random amount of them will be corrosion, and the other ones I think will be panic blocks instead. If so, you won't have access to your normal skills, but some of them might be panic blocks, meaning you can basically skip turn, not use your skill, which that's good. Okay, that's good. No, wait, panic blocks are added to slots where the corrosions. Okay, yeah, okay. That's exactly right. So if Corrosion skill did not appear in some of the slots, Panic Block will be there, and Panic Block just no action when you use it. So this might be a way to skip using your Corrosion skill if you're afraid, or you know it will hit your allies only, like at the end of the combat, for example. Okay, now another change they talked about that they will is the change to sin resistance modifications, okay, when you're using your ego skills. So before, or right now, before the patch, if you used ego, it would carry over the resistances, the stronger resistances, onto your character, and only the stronger ones. After the patch, it will carry all the resistances from the ego. So even if it makes you weaker to specific elements, it will carry those as well. So it's a nerf in terms of ego skills. I don't think anyone will realistically feel it that much, to be honest, but yes, it's a nerf, and it makes sense. I don't think it should like give you only positive effects with the ego. Like, it should carry the weaknesses as well. I think it makes sense. Alright, next things, bug fixes and improvements. Like always, I'm not gonna read through them, but a lot of things are getting fixed because we have 2 pages of them. And then finally the 300 lunacy, as always, for the compensation rewards. Now, the last piece of news is the new content, the Refraction Railway. Again, it goes live on April 6th. We talked about it before and nothing changed from what I looked into. So if you already watched my previous video on it and you don't need the reminder how it will work, then you're good. But if you didn't, or you want a refresher, then here it is. So it will open on April 6th and it will stay open until May 4th. You have to clear main story 322 to unlock this feature or this event. You will have 13 difficult combat stages that will be open, and once you enter it, you will choose a number of identities and egos to do the expedition with, and then unlike other combat based content, any level ups or tier ups or anything you do to your characters will not be reflected in the in this content. So you would have to restart from, if you leveled up your characters or egos or whatever, you would have to restart the whole thing in order to see those changes reflected. Okay. Now each stage will have one time or first time clearing rewards, and when you clear the stage while fulfilling requirements, you will receive special banner. This is basically the turn count, like how many turns it took to clear the whole event, the whole 13 stages. Okay, so in terms of those rewards, we will have to pay for access basically to the Lost and Found, which is the place where all the first time clear rewards will be stored at. So after you clear a stage for the first time, the rewards for that stage will be forwarded to Lost and Found, and if you want to access those rewards, then you have to spend modules. Now this time on picture they have 25 modules, and I think that makes sense to me. I think that might be actual real value here. Again, don't take it for sure, since you know those things change, but I think it probably will be 25. This is like literally few days worth of energy, so it's not that bad. And yeah, you get access to a lot of pools and EXP and threads and all of that, so I think it will be worth it regardless. It's only one time payment too, So once you do it for this specific refraction railway, then you have access to those rewards for the whole thing, right? So once you paid, you will be able to get all the rewards and you don't have to pay again. Okay, on to the next thing. Combat details. So every combat will have the abnormality combat, so you will be able to directly match your skills against enemy skills, and that's against humanoid enemies as well, which is interesting. The health and sanity, as well as your resources, will carry over from battle to battle. If any of your units die, they will remain being dead for the rest of the expedition. If you lose battle, it will take you back to the point before entering that stage. So whatever resources, health values, SP values you had before the stage you failed, it will return to those numbers, okay? And you have ability to hop in to any of the stages, or to the point of any of the stages beforehand. So if you're on stage 7 and for whatever reason you want to go back to stage 4 because maybe you lost too much health or whatever throughout those few stages, you can do that. You can go back to the state you had on stage 4, no problems. You have also ability to restart the whole thing from 0 if you don't like your current run. So there you go. And finally, you will have access to the logs, which are only seen by you. It will tell you the units you used. You will be able to look up on those units and the damage of those units, like damage share stats. And it will also give you the timestamp when you cleared it and how many turns it took to clear it. Anything that will go over 999 turns is not recorded, which I can't imagine anyone going over 999 turns. And what else? You're also getting the banners depending on the amount of turns it took you to clear the content. So if you cleared the content, like just cleared it, you will have the basic banner. Decorated banner will require you to clear it within certain amount of turns. We don't know how many yet. And then embellished banner is also within certain amount of turns, probably lower than decorated banner. And also you have to clear it within the first half of the event, and that's very important, so pay attention. If you want the last banner, the best banner, right, the most prestigious one, you have to clear this in the first 2 weeks of the event, so from April 6th to April 20th. Even though the event stays until May, you have to clear it in the first 2 weeks if you want the last banner. So something to keep in mind, if you really want that banner, you have to clear it early on and not leave it for later. So yeah, and other than that, oh yeah, the number of turns it took you on your best run, it will be etched to the lower side of the banner. So like here you have 100. So again, like, it will be prestigious stuff for people that are pushing far, because you might have banner with 20 turns, for example, and you know, maybe no one else has 20 turns. So it will carry the extra oomph on your account the lower you can get the number. So it will be competitive for sure. I know there will be people that will be trying to push this as low as they can. I myself don't really care too much about it. I'm not gonna sit here for days and try to get the right RNG, so not interested. But I will definitely try doing the content in the first 2 weeks and get the third banner, because why not, right? Like, I'll have to do it anyway. Might as well try for the third banner, and I'll probably record a video on my progress. I I'm still debating what I should do, if I should do stream or just video for it, but yeah, I'll think about it. Okay, it's been long. Okay, it's been long. It's been long video, so I'll let you go. A lot of cool stuff, a lot of stuff we already knew, but yeah, I had to go over everything for people that didn't know yet. So okay, I will see you guys next time. Peace.